we will adjourn to. Oh, okay.
Do we have your cards now?
Okay. So we do have one card from Mary Figueroa regarding the East Side Elementary School. Welcome, Ms. Figueroa. You have
Thank you.
3 minutes. Thank you.
It's very nice to see everybody. Okay, so everybody knows I'm Mary Figueroa, and I'm currently here on behalf of the East Side Think Tank. Represents the community in the East Side and has been in existence for over a decade. I am here to bring to you the attention of the concern on the East Side Elementary School. You are looking right now at an original student from the 1960s desegregation of the Riverside Unified School District. I was one of the original students that was bused from Irving Elementary School across town to Liberty. It took me 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening to get home. I went to the bus in the dark, and I came home from the bus in the dark. My question right now is I want to make sure that you maintain focus on what you have promised this community. So my point is, over a decade ago, I stood before you when you promised this community back then that you had approximately $12 million set aside for an elementary school. It didn't happen. That money was then diverted, and it was sent all over the Riverside Unified School District to other locations. The East Side never got its school. That was over a decade ago. A little over a year ago, you brought us forward, and we came before you, and we sat over on Magnolia as you told us that you had set aside $35 million for a Casablanca school and $35 million for an East Side school, and that we were finally going to get our school. We were there. We were happy. Now, I know that Casablanca, they are pretty much in the process of getting their school. We have not seen the same success happening in the East Side. We know that there are land issues. We acknowledge those. We have historically had contact with eminent domain because of redevelopment that came in the 1960s. My family was one of the ones that was moved out of the home that we were living in because of redevelopment. We know what some of the factors are that you have to overcome. But here's my point, and here's the reason I'm standing before you right now. Your credibility with this community is at stake. You promised them this school over a decade ago. You didn't deliver. It may not be the same people that are sitting here. I know you're not. But you are Riverside Unified School District Board. So they will hold you accountable. And so here we are again with the children still being bused. Approximately, if I remember the number that you gave us, close to 1,500. I think it was like 1,423 students. Almost 3 times as many as Casablanca.
Thank you, Ms. Figueroa.
Okay? So my question is, when are you going to let our children come home? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes our public participation, and we will now adjourn to closed session at 4:06 p.m.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm starting 1st grade. I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited. Starting middle school feels stressful. Yes. I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC.
We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world.
And so that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
It's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside, and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
Chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for a chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to have like the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down. It's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes and I have like the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, you know, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me like almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. Like I wasn't really confident in dancing, and now I know my numbers like the back of my hand.
We just really just kill and drill everything, so they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end, it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's lots of people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoids in the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've like all the friends I've made and like everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copy something else. We're making new like pulleys and out of these types of energy. And the bee goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, you know, in a variety of ways.
Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve. Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. And they have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm studying 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior. Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited.
Starting middle school feels stressful. Yes.
I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC.
We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world.
And so that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
Like, boy, it's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside, and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education, and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
Chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to have the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine, and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing, so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down, and it's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes, and I have the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. I wasn't really confident in dancing, and now I know my numbers like the back of my hand.
We just really just kill and drill everything. So they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end, it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's lots of people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoids in the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've like all the friends I've made and like everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copying something else.
We're making new like pulleys and out of these types of energy.
And the bee goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, in a variety of ways.
Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve.
Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. And they have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm starting 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited.
Starting middle school feels stressful.
Yes. I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC. We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world.
And so that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I've served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
Boy, it's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside, and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
The chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for a chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to have the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down and it's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes, and I have the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me like almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. Like I wasn't really confident in dancing. Now I know my numbers like the back of my head.
We just really kill and drill everything, so they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's lots of people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoid to the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've all the friends I've made and everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copy something else. So we're making new pulleys out of these types of energy. And the bee goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, in a variety of ways.
Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve.
Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. And they have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm starting 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior. Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited. Starting middle school feels stressful.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC. We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world.
And so that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
Boy, it's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside, and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
The chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for a chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to
have like the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down. It's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes and I have like the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, you know, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me like almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. Like I wasn't really confident in dancing, and now I know my numbers like the back of my hand.
We just really just kill and drill everything, so they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end, it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's lots of people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoids in the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've like all the friends I've made and like everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copy something else. We're making new like pulleys and out of these types of energy. And the bee goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, you know, in a variety of ways.
Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve.
Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. They have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm studying 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited. Starting middle school feels stressful. Yes.
I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC.
We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world. And so that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I've served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
Boy, it's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside, and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education, and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
Chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for a chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to have the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine, and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing, so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down. It's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes, and I have the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. I wasn't really confident in dancing, and now I know my numbers like the back of my hand.
We just really kill and drill everything, so they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end, it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high-caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's less people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoids in the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've like all the friends I've made and like everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copy something else.
We're making new like pulleys and out of these types of energy.
And the bee goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, in a variety of ways. Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve.
Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. They have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm starting 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous and excited. Starting middle school feels stressful. Yes.
I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are the jobs of right now and the future.
Computer science touches all facets of their life, so it's really important that they learn about the opportunities across the community, with our partner organizations that are available to all of our students.
We have partners from Cal Baptist, University of Redlands, UCR, a few volunteers from RCC.
We have VMware sponsoring esports, so they're showing people what esports is, how to get involved, and the different opportunities and careers that are involved in esports, because it's not just playing video games like many people think. We also have Lego Robotics here today, and they partner with First Robotics, and they do robotics competitions throughout the state and throughout the nation. We also have PyTop here, and they're doing a lot of physical computing along with the Raspberry Pi Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's all about getting more computer science in the hands of students all around the world.
So that is helping adults to create spaces for kids to explore coding. So from coding like online with Scratch and Python to actual physical computing.
So we've got tons of students and parents and family members and teachers and administrators here to sort of experience some different things going on in computer science.
I really like participating in events like these, like community events that get kids excited about engineering specifically. These events are really great for demystifying like what computer science is and what engineering is.
It drives me to create something that is greater than myself and be a part of something that's greater than myself, and also to teach others.
We really want to make sure that our students are able to grab a seat at the table and share their voice, share their perspectives. So it's very important for us to be intentional to provide learning opportunities for all of our students, and especially our underrepresented students.
It's our first time doing it, so we didn't totally know what to expect, but we're really excited about how it's going.
Today, we are honoring a community member and former trustee of the Board of Education for Riverside by naming our library after her, Mrs. Gail Cloud.
Well, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a little bit of vindication because at the beginning, not everybody was real excited about what was going on at Bryant.
Gail was really instrumental in getting the core knowledge program started at Bryant, which absolutely turned the school around. It was failing in terms of its population. We were losing population. They were talking about closing it down, and Gail had this idea that she wanted to provide a quality program for our students.
She just, always put the students first, and she was thinking long term in terms of the curriculum, like core knowledge, and what an incredible asset it is to our community.
She was determined to bring to a neighborhood school a program, core knowledge, that really makes it thrive and makes it live. So I think that that's legitimate to say that it might not be thriving without Gail Cloud.
Gail is a fixture in this community, and she's known for her support of public education, helping the underserved, and especially literacy.
We named a library after Gail Cloud because she's been an extraordinary public servant and advocate for public education, our students, for 16 years as a school board member.
I served with her for 12 years on the school board, and during that time I was able to see her dedication and her interests and all the expertise she brought to the board, and I know that this library is really where her heart is.
Boy, it's appropriate because I did almost major in library science.
Gail Cloud is one of the finest people I've met in Riverside and just greatly cares about this community and K-12 education and just overall where Riverside's going.
Being able to name a library after her, especially one that her kids and grandkids go to, I mean, there couldn't be a more perfect recognition for her.
A chorus line is one of my favorites, and I know the students are going to love it.
And it is about the story of an audition for a chorus line and what every dancer has ever gone through and the passion that they have to go through this.
I play Cassie. I get to do a dance solo. I get to have like the stage to myself at one point.
My role, I'm Richie Walters. I'm a former college basketball player who for some reason no longer plays basketball, so now he dances.
My character is Christine and she can't sing, so I feel like it's perfect for me.
I'm one of the people on the chorus line. I play Bobby.
I am a cut dancer, so in the beginning and the end I dance.
We did, I believe, 3 days of auditions where they came and sang for us, and then we did the third day was dancing so we could see how well they moved, as this is a heavy dance show.
Yeah, a lot of dance numbers. It took a lot, but we all got it down and it's really good.
I haven't really taken any dance classes and I have like the dance lead, so it was very nerve-wracking, you know, going through the whole process.
I wasn't very good at dancing, but our choreographer Hannah really taught us a lot of really good technique.
They were a little rough, but I'm able to see you can move, you can dance, I can work with it, I can make it work.
She really taught me like almost everything that I know, and I call her my dance mom.
Hannah, she helped so much. Like I wasn't really confident in dancing. Now I know my numbers like the back of my hand.
We just really kill and drill everything, so they feel like they're going crazy, but in the end it shows that the hard work that they put in.
And we're giving them an experience that they can't get necessarily in their own schools. We're giving them quality, high caliber theater experience.
They're so excited about doing it here at the Fox, and we can't say how much we appreciate the Fox Foundation and Live Nation for giving us this opportunity. They're just going to be spectacular.
That and the crew, the kids that we bring in for the crew.
There's lots of people doing lights and then sound, and then we have the people turning the periactoids in the back, and then I'm doing dressing and stuff backstage. It's really cool.
And the fact that we can bring all of our district together to perform a chorus line is really amazing.
Oh, it's so much fun. I've like all the friends I've made and like everything, and I'm so glad I have other people from other schools too.
Oh, it was amazing. I never thought that I could do all these things until I went and was able to do it.
Today is our Project Lead the Way STEM Expo, where our students are showcasing the different modules they've been utilizing all throughout the school year.
The rubber band is for the chain, and it actually moves like this.
Biomimicry. Mimicry means copy something else.
We're making new like pulleys and out of these types of energy.
And the bead goes to each flower to get the pollen, and when it goes to different flower, it spreads the pollen.
It's amazing. So in the current module, there are hands-on where they do it, you know, in a variety of ways.
Our students are able to articulate their learning to adults and to each other and really problem solve.
Because it's having fun and we can do different activities by learning. We're trying to build a car.
It's a radio module, which is also on the robot. And they have to be the same chip. If they're not the same, they cannot be controlled.
It's important because so the bee can have food, and then when it drops, then it creates seeds.
Everything
is controlled by the mind.
Our current module right now, we're doing animated storytelling. So in this module, students are learning about programming.
It's very open to people who are creative, and it's just really fun in general to do.
And they are learning a lot about how to keep persistent, how to fix problems. True scientists always go back and analyze what they did and evaluate how they can make it better.
It was kind of like a creative science, like a resilient science, like never to give up. Like if you like break it on accident, you should never give up.
And that's what we need in the world. There's students who can problem solve and children who grow up to solve problems that we currently face.
Thank you for entrusting your children to us. My staff is excited to embrace all of our students from different communities. Just seeing the kids' smiles and excitement. Some were a bit anxious, but once they stepped on campus, it seemed like they felt at home.
Today I'm starting 4th grade, 5th grade, cuarto grado. We're going into 7th grade. 7th grade. I'm studying 1st grade.
I'm a senior.
I'm a junior. Going into my freshman year, sophomore year.
Starting senior year.
Definitely start getting the routine, go to bed earlier, start reading again to them, and we appreciate your commitment.
My mom woke me up so early to do this. I'm like, why?
It's pretty nice to be back in school, I guess.
I feel nervous, excited. Starting middle school feels stressful.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
We teach all students and believe in all students. Enjoyed welcoming the parents and just looking forward to another school year.
Today went by really fast.
My first day was amazing.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm out.
So today we're at the County Office of Education for Computer Science Community Summit, and I'm super excited about it because more often than not, when you see computer science events, they're geared towards students or teachers. But really, we wanted to empower our families and our communities.
As a county, we really want to help districts raise the visibility of computer science education. We'd like to see more courses offered at high schools and middle schools as well.
It's extremely important for students to learn coding and computer science because those are Good evening. We are reconvening open session at 5:34 p.m. And there is just one item to report out from closed session, one action taken. By unanimous vote, the board approved an agreement regarding the resignation of one classified management employee. And that is all. We will now proceed to our Pledge of Allegiance, and that'll be led by Trustee Lee.
All right, please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Our first agenda item is a special recognition. Ms. Lynn Carmende, if you could please present.
Good evening, Board President Dr. Farouk, esteemed board members, Dr. Hansen. I get the privilege again to introduce our new incoming student board members. So tonight, you're going to hear a little bit about them. They're going to just reacquaint you with them since last spring when we excitedly introduced them. And before we do that, what I want to do is have them come up and tell you a little bit about themselves. They will be serving on the dais with you. Once Dr. Farouk swears them in with the oath, we'll have a photo, but then our first student board member will come up and start their term this evening. All of them will be student board members for the entire year, so I wanted to let you know that once they have the oath of office. They will be sharing the voice of their peers as a representative of all students in our district, not specific to their site, but all students. They will have the ability to vote, a preferential vote on all matters other than employee matters and closed session items. So I just wanted to remind everyone about that. We're excited about it. We understand the significance of having student board members and that voice in governance. So at this time, I'd like to introduce to you our three student board members. I'm going to start with Deborah Alagbada, and she's from Arlington High School. She's going to serve our first term, and I want her to just take a moment to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Alagbada. I'm a senior from Arlington High School. I have been in RUSD since 2008. Outside of academics, I like to involve myself in mock trial, biomedical program, the medical corps, veterinarian club, as well as CSF. I also like to involve myself in my communities, such as Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is a program that allows high school students to mentor elementary school students who are struggling with finding someone who they can rely on as part of their support system. I hope that in the future I can use both science and law to not only better my community but the nation in order to move it forward progressively. I plan to both major in forensic science and political science.
And now I'd like to introduce Haley Stevens. She's from Lincoln High School, and she'll be serving our second term.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Haley Stevens, and I attend Lincoln High School. I have been in the RUSD district since 2013. Previous to that, I lived in Pennsylvania, and I was a part of the Panther Valley High School District, or school district, excuse me. In school, I am the main lab leader at Lincoln for the Allied Health Program. I participated in many of the medical fairs, and before attending Lincoln, I was the S4 in the JROTC program at Poly High School. I participated in many of their parades, the Veterans Day Parade, for example. I've received awards from ROTC, such as Daughters of American Colonists and American Patriots, for my work in that. Outside of academics, I like to help animals. I work pretty hard to help stray animals if I see them, give them water, try to call people to come get them. I enjoy reading and writing and art and just learning about new things, about new people, new cultures. psychology, things of that matter. And I plan to study nursing at Grand Canyon University, and I would like to become a registered nurse and to work with pediatrics at Loma Linda Hospital. So, thank you.
And then in our last term in the spring, we'll have Freddie Hodnett, and he's from North High School.
Hello, everyone. I'm Freddie Hodnett. I'm a senior at John W. North High School. I'm also the president of the Black Student Union there. First, I would like to thank all the adults that have worked very hard with me to prepare me for this position. I would like to thank my church, my family, and all North staff for everything they have poured into me. And to the board, I would like to remind you guys something I said last time I was here. The change begins with us, so let's make change happen. Lastly, I'd like to say that Riverside's future is looking brighter than ever, and I'm very excited for this year. Thank you for your time.
Sometimes I just want to close a meeting with words like these. So thank you so much. If we want to go ahead and, Dr. Farouk, would you like them to introduce their guests prior to the oath, or
Yes,
would you prefer?
please.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Why don't you introduce your guests here?
Gonna be a little long. So my principal's here, my history teacher's
Freddie,
here.
have them stand up if you would, please.
Okay. So my principal, can you stand up, please? My history teacher, our ASB director, my BSU advisor, my other BSU advisor, my two church parents, my grandmother, my girlfriend, and I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so I have my mom, my little brother, my boyfriend, and my favorite teacher, Mr. Robertson, who has actually helped me quite a lot with everything. So.
I have my mom and dad here, as well as my principal, Mr. Ibarra.
Dr. Farouk? Can you come this direction? And they'll
Yes,
take
I'll do the oath of office, and then
Okay.
I'll take a group photo after.
Perfect. And thank you so much, because we know that it does take a whole group to develop our young minds and prepare them for such a great opportunity. We're going to learn a lot from you.
Congratulations again. So if you could please repeat after me our oath of office, and congratulations again. So please state your name. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. If my colleagues on the board can join me, we'll take a group photo. Where's the best place for us to, or actually we should go there. So we'll go up there.
I think we're okay with it down. Yeah. Yeah, on the steps.
So congratulations again to Deborah, Haley, and Freddie. And it was a remarkable experience to get to know them and go through the process. Trustee Locke Dawson and I had the pleasure to interview them. Do you want to share any thoughts about that, Trustee Locke Dawson?
I'm just thrilled to have them here. We had a really good cross-section of candidates. And I will say, often we really want, let's see, how do I put this? We wanted students who were representative of our entire student body. So that's how we ended up with these three, who we think represent the best and brightest of RUSD in all of its glory. So it was a thrill to hear that they accepted the positions. And I will say, it's wonderful for me to see our future in such a positive light, and particularly in this era of nasty politicking. And I love that our students can set the tone for decorum and respect. So thank you for choosing to serve.
Thank you, Trustee Locke Dawson. I concur, and again, congratulations, and we're really proud not just of your leadership that you're going to serve in this capacity, but we're here to support you with your future as well. So thank you. Our next agenda item is District Superintendent's Report. Dr. David Hansen.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk, and I too would like to echo my congratulations to our new student trustees. I had the chance last Friday to spend time at Arlington High School and to prepare Deborah for tonight's board meeting and to go through the board prep just like I do with our elected officials. And so it was a pleasure to spend some time with her, and I look forward to spending time with the other two board members as they have a chance to serve. And board members, I just want to give you an update. It's been a really good opening of the school year. As of you know, we started a week ago last Monday, and the teachers and the administrators came back before that. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the kickoff of the symposium that we held. Grateful to Borns, who opened up his facility for all 200 plus managers. And the kickoff for our leadership symposium took place on August the 1st and the 2nd, as I mentioned, at Borns. And we spent dedicated time with all of our leadership team discussing and being trained in cultural proficiency and unconscious bias. Epic Education came and trained our 200 plus managers, and we spent the 2 days on two topics. The first one, thriving in America as a racially conscious person. And the second one, it was entitled The Tragedy of Nonness, How Language Damages Our Quest for Social Justice. And some of our leaders who participated, they shared things such as it was the very best professional learning that they have ever been participated in, and it was a challenge, but it helped me open up and connect with other administrators as we talk about these important topics. I want to let you know that we're going to continue this work through the next 2 years as our leadership team meetings continue to discuss. Next, the topic is Let's Talk About Race, as well as culturally relevant pedagogy. And moreover, our leadership team will receive coaching this year on compassionate dialogue, or what we refer to as the cycle of inquiry, as each school and department leadership uses compassionate dialogue to explore an equity problem that currently exists within our setting and creating a more inclusive environment. I also want to let you know that Cabinet will be working through a more intense training 4 to 5 different times this year, and the first one being this coming Monday on August the 26th, where we'll continue to go deep in unconscious bias with CEO of Epic Education, Dr. Nancy Dome. And as a cabinet member, we are certainly looking forward to this 3-hour training, for the first of 3 or 4 this year, as we support the work in the district. And I want to remind the school board that the next board meeting, actually not the next board meeting, the September 17th board meeting has been shifted from a study session to a workshop where we will focus on unconscious bias, also delivered by Epic Education. And we'll let you know as we get close to that September 17th date. And lastly, I want to let you know that we're going to begin holding listening sessions for our staff, our students, and families to collect information on the individual's authentic experience with diversity and inclusion in the district starting in September. Ms. Renee Hill, retired assistant superintendent and longtime Riverside resident, will be holding these listening sessions with a sampling of participants to listen to feedback and input on the diversity inclusion here in RUSD. And I look forward, and I see Renee in the audience. Thanks for being here, Renee. I look forward to the information and trends gathered from these important touch points. And for the community members, just to tell part of the story, nearly 2 years ago, the Board of Education and I called for an equity task force. And from that equity task force, 10 different actions were identified. One of those actions dealt with cultural proficiency training. We're going to spend 2 years, and part of that action is the listening and the things that we're talking about with Renee Hill. So we're continuing on with the actions that we started a couple years ago, continuing to strive to be a better, more inclusive environment and really meeting the needs of all of our kids. So I just want to let you know that. 2 other quick things as board members. On August the 27th, we just learned that Congressman Mark Takano is planning on visiting Riverside County to look at the Farm Bureau and to discuss RUSD's Food Hub and Farm to School program. At 9 o'clock a.m. on August the 27th, he will be arriving at our central kitchen in the district and will leave at precisely 9:30 a.m. So he'll only be there 30 minutes if you want to stop by. Then at 9:30, he's traveling over for the tour of the Tassadilla Organic Farm that's located here in Riverside. And the last thing, I had a chance to attend the, I believe it's the governance workshop subcommittee. And Mr. Lee and Dr. Fruch are part of that subcommittee. And there's going to be on August the 27th a trip between us along with a member or the president of the Corona School Board, Mary Ibarra, as well as one of their cabinet members to Sacramento. Along with us, Dr. Fruch and Mr. Lee will be representing the board, and then Ms. Kakish and Ms. Carmondale will be going to Sacramento August the 27th to provide input on the governor's January budget. And then there'll be another trip scheduled with Corona as well on September the 25th as we're traveling to Washington, D.C. to influence the federal budget. And both of these trips are organized by Kevin Gordon. Last, I'd like to give Lynn Carmody a chance to give an update from our educational services.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge the great opening to the school year as well, and we will give you some details from each of our 3 grade spans at the next board meeting. We'll have some principals come in and share some of the highlights, as we usually do. I also want to just make a quick mention of a collaborative effort that we are considering entering into a memorandum of understanding with the County of Riverside Economic Development Agency, Workforce Development Division. And it would provide 2 specific outcomes for us. One is that the county staff provide resources and their staff to help facilitate access to the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act through their programs, job referrals, direct placement, career fairs, and other opportunities. And then also that they collaborate very closely with our career technical education work that's happening in the district to provide employment opportunities, internships, and apprenticeships for our students. So something that's in the works, and I just wanted to make sure that you had a chance to hear about it besides reading it in the mail out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carmody, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hansen, for that report. Our next section is public input, and there is one speaker for a topic that's not on the agenda, Ms. Letitia Pepper. Welcome, Ms. Pepper. You have 3 minutes.
Does anybody want this? Oh, thank you. Good evening. Last month, I pointed out that the board members, everybody except Mrs. Olive, foolishly approved a $5,000 plus contract for public relations services to try and increase dropping enrollment. Given the fact that the school board is currently operating in the red, a contract like that for services that are somewhat amorphous that only might increase enrollment seems like a really bad use of money while you're losing money. That's not the only thing that concerned Mrs. Olive. She also was the one who noticed the contract was extremely short on details of the services and goods to be provided, and only Mrs. Olive commented on the fact that you could be billed for duplicative services. Mrs. Locke-Doxson, however, said, "Oh, don't worry. The PR company told us during our subcommittee meeting that they won't bill us for those duplicative services, and they're not going to charge us $5,000. They're going to cut it $100,000 to $4,000 because of the services we won't provide." And then Mrs. Locke-Dawson said, "Let's vote," because it was getting late, and she didn't want to stay and have any more discussion, and everybody voted except Mrs. Alivi, and I thank you for that. I mentioned before I'm an attorney, and I've been an attorney for a long time, so I actually read the contract. And it has a lot of problems that you guys didn't even notice. First of all, it isn't only for $400,000. They can charge you at least $508,000 plus more because of the deal you made to pay third-party vendors they made contracts with that you might not even get a chance to approve. That's just one thing. Another thing about the contract is something that I actually was contacted by Mrs. Kakish, your chief business officer, who offered to answer any of my concerns about the contract. And so I began by asking her a very simple question. This contract provides that the budgets and the estimates and all the bases for all the money going out the door for services and goods you don't even know exactly what they're going to be, those are supposed to be approved by people designated in the contract. But the contract doesn't designate anyone. So, who do you think is going to be looking at the money for these services that you don't even know what they're going to be? Kind of a problem, don't you think? So, and I asked Mrs. Kakish several times, and she still hasn't gotten back to me. It should be easy. The contract says the people designated here are the ones who are going to do this, and it's not designated in the contract. Why isn't your staff watching out for this? Well, it's not the only thing they're not watching out for. Back in April, there were 4 consent items on your consent calendar. And some of them are entirely improper, if not illegal. For example, you remember you did something kind of new with the revolving cash accounts you set up available for principals and unnamed administrators? That doesn't say anything about the required laws from the education code. And that's not the only problem you guys have. This is a setup for fraud. And anybody here who would like to learn more, feel free to contact me and the small group of people who are working with me to try and keep you from having the money walk away. Thank you.
Okay, we will now go to our consent calendar.
Approval?
Actually, Deborah, our student board member, did you want to make a motion on this?
Yes, I did. I motion to approve the consent calendar excluding item H4.
I will second that.
Trustee Locke-Dawson seconds it. Please vote. Okay, motion carries. And would someone like to make a motion on the outstanding item? Moved by Trustee Hunt, seconded by Trustee Alavi. Please vote. Trustee Hunt. Okay. It's not stating the vote. Okay. The motion carries. Yes?
If I could just, if you would explain to the audience just why our student, I know that Ms. Carmen Day mentioned it, but maybe just so they know.
Thank you for saying that. So what Trustee Hunt is alluding to is that our student board members are able to provide advisory votes to us on all matters that we consider as a district. The only exclusions are matters related to personnel, matters related to litigation, real estate, things that are typically done under a closed session also. So that's why that item was excluded. Thank you, Trustee Hunt. Yeah. Okay, our next agenda item is board member comments. We'll start with Trustee Locke-Dawson.
Well, welcome back, everybody. School has officially started, and that means my daughter is home sick today because it is the second week of school. She's just been exposed to a bunch of viruses, which happens every year. Other than that, though, I think the school year is off to a fabulous start. I want to thank all of our staff for making sure that everything went smoothly. I don't think I heard a complaint about an air conditioner. Did I yet? No? All the air conditioners are on, which is a good thing. And also, I did want to mention to our other student board members and their families, you are free to leave if you'd like. I mean, you don't have to stick around for the folks, for the rest of the board meeting, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that. So, other than that, I think that's all I have. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Lock-Dawson. Trustee Hunt.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. Echo Mrs. Lock-Dawson. I'm sure all of us to thank the staff and the teachers and particularly our M&O folks. This is the first year I didn't receive a call on air conditioning, so the poly chiller works. And but thank you all. It was very interesting watching some of the people on Facebook, the teachers who were doing their rooms, and reminds us that still the state doesn't give us all, and it takes the community to support them. Also, just want to report on, and I want to meet with Dr. Hansen and Principal Yabar on this. I had a very nice lunch with Western Municipal Water District Board Member Gracie Torres, a very accomplished and a bright young woman and scientist who shared with me, we want talking about what can we do more together than just the solar cup, which is great. But they have a certificate program that she has suggested that regarding water quality and water management, that a young person taking this and going and with a high school degree can, there are jobs waiting in the industry. So I said I'd bring it forward, and as I said, I'm going to sit down with Dr. Hansen, and I'd like to see it come to Arlington, and if it's the way it should go, I think it's very exciting. And I thank Ms. Torres for bringing it to us, and wish you all the best of a new year coming.
Thank you, Trustee Hunt. Trustee Lee. Could we get the mic for Trustee Lee? You don't have any comments? Okay. Our student board member, Deborah, would you like to share any thoughts?
Yes. I want to start off by saying the first week of school has been amazing, and I hope to end senior year off strong. Once again, I want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to be the voice of the students and represent all the students of RUSD. I hope to continue to work with you in order to not only better RUSD, but the memories and moments for the students. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, and we look forward to that. Trustee Alvey.
Welcome to our student board member. We're glad to have you. Ditto that everybody said about welcome. That's just wonderful. We had a lovely welcome to our new employees, thanks to our HR department. They did a really nice job, and hopefully all of our new employees are feeling welcome and getting started. So just it's always an exciting time of year.
Thank you, Trustee Alvey. And I just want to concur with my colleagues as to how exciting it is for the school year to begin again, and all of the dedication of staff to not only to serve our students, but the preparation and everything that goes into it. So we're very grateful to you, and thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Our next agenda section is our study session, beginning with our District Capital Facilities Program. Sergio San Martin.
Good evening, President Farouk, Board of Trustees, Dr. Hansen. This is an exciting update to the board. We are prepared to give you an update on our school facilities projects. First, I would like to thank members of the audience. This is your team. We have our architects, partners, our CMs, our engineers, and also members of the Planning and Development Department who have been working very diligently and dedicating their time in making sure that these projects move forward, getting us to this point in construction. So, let's see here. That's the right. Yeah. There it is. All right, here we go. All right, so in 2016, we passed a bond, Measure O, and with the first bond issuance, the first $100 million, we have been very busy. This slide here gives you an overview of what we've done within the first bond issuance. Projects in Groups A, we are currently in construction, and I'm going to go through the presentation of where we're at and give you an updates on the construction activities. But part of that process of getting us into construction is also securing us in submitting for state funding, which we've done for that group. But also for groups B and C, this list of projects has also given us the ability to complete the planning, the engineering, submitting to the Division of State Architect, and in some cases right now we're in plan review, plan check, and in several projects we are shovel ready. Those that are shovel ready, we have also submitted for state funding, which we'll do also for groups B and C. Okay, projects in Group A, we have Harrison Elementary School. Oops. This is a site that's one of the first projects that are in construction. This site will be receiving a 5-classroom wing. This is to replace portable buildings that are housing our special ed students. This is an important project which will help us to bring these to build and design new permanent classrooms for our permanent and highest needs students, which will have adequate classroom space, restrooms, and so forth. The site would also receive a new parking and drop-off area and renovation modernization throughout the campus. The site is under construction. Grading is in progress. Interim housing has been in process too. These are a few just photos of the activity that has taken place starting this summer. That have started during the summer. The next project is High Grove Elementary, and this is a project that is receiving 12 classrooms, the 2-story permanent building, which will allow us to replace portable buildings, remove 12 portable buildings in the future. It will receive a kindergarten classroom wing and regular classrooms for grades 1st grade through 6th grade. This site's also receiving a new drop-off area and upgrades to the parking area and renovation and modernization throughout the campus. The site is under construction, grading, infrastructure, utilities, and even working within the inside of the classroom buildings. This is a few photos of just to illustrate what the work that has started this summer looks like and progressing. On the next site, Jefferson Elementary. Jefferson Elementary is receiving a permanent classroom, kindergarten classroom, which will house 6 classrooms. Also, this project will include a dedicated playground for the kindergarten program and renovation modernization throughout the school campus. The site is under construction with completing the interim housing. The classroom wing with renovation is underway, and infrastructure is also underway. There's just a few photos of what took place this summer. Madison Elementary is receiving a 5-classroom kindergarten wing, a permanent classroom, which again will allow us to remove portable buildings from the site. The site's also getting an upgraded new parking area and drop-off area, new lunch shelters on the campus, and renovation modernization of the existing buildings. The site is under construction. Rough grading has been completed, or it's underway. There's a lot of movement. There's utilities and underground infrastructure that's being under construction. Here's a few photos of Madison. Sierra Middle School. This is our first middle school using Measure O funds. It's under construction. It's about 85% complete. During the summer, staff and the contractors and our students were very busy trying to get the site ready for occupancy. The site has received a brand new front of the school, a new parking drop-off area. The parking area has been re-engineered and recirculated. The whole front has been redone for beautification, ADA compliance, fire alarm systems throughout the buildings. Our special ed classroom wings were undergoing construction this summer. The administration office also received some ADA compliance and renovations too. The site is still under construction. The gymnasium is receiving air conditioning and heating, and they're currently working on that as we speak. Here's a few photos of the work that started this summer. You can see that on the top right photo, there's work in the administration office that was completely gutted, and that, as of today, has been 95% complete. The parking also has been completed, and it's currently being used today. Those are our sites that are under construction in Group A. The next set of projects are the neighborhood schools. And I wanted to bring you just a quick update on what's been happening within the last few months. The Casablanca site. This site, as of July, we are the proud owners, landlords of the 10-acre site, which used to be the radio station. This is in the middle of the heart of the Casablanca neighborhood. The Casablanca neighborhood is the blue outline that you see on this photo. We've completed the environmental impact report during the summer also, and this is just a conceptual plan of, and just an illustration of how the school would look like in terms of a site plan. We are currently working on putting together a request for qualifications, which will be a competitive process for acquiring a design consultant and engineer, architect, to move this project further into schematics and making this project a reality. On the east side is the blue boundary that you see on that this slide here. The red little dots represents students' place of residence. This area currently service our 7 schools service our students that live within this area. There's only 2 schools within the east side, which is Longfellow and Emerson. We are currently busing close to 1,400 students a day, which we are actively looking for a neighborhood school in this community as well. In fact, we have closed escrow on a property just next to Lincoln Continuation High School. This is the beginning, the first step to get us to a neighborhood school in this community. At this point, we haven't defined the project yet, but this will give us the ability to extend, if we need to, at one point, develop a neighborhood elementary school in this area. And again, this is a site that has closed escrow to just actually this week. On the Spring Mountain Ranch neighborhood, the area in blue is what we call the Spring Mountain Ranch neighborhood. And there's a lot of activity within the last over 2 years now. A lot of new housing development has been taking place. And again, the red little dots represent students' place of residence. As you can see, from the homes that have been completed and developed, we're starting to see students coming out of those neighborhoods. The triangle that you see there on the top, it's a property that we've also closed escrow. This is 13 acres for a future neighborhood school in this community. As you can see all the development and the grading that's taking place. Again, we've closed escrow as of May 31st. Projects that are non-measurable projects, we have a few projects here that we'll go through. We have the Palm site, Lincoln and King High School. The Palm site is where we house our boardroom, and right now it's under construction, and that's why we're conducting our board meeting here today. This site is under construction. The parking scope of work has been completed during the summer. We are currently working in the boardroom itself. The restrooms have been renovated and are still under construction at about 90% complete. And the new lounge has been also under construction. Here are a few photos of the activities. The parking lot has been completed, and there you can see a few photos of the boardroom itself with the floor completely gone.
Mr. San Martin,
yes.
I think, go back to that slide. I think it's important to interject, and I do this in every meeting I'm at. The board only uses that room twice a month, and it had stadium seating with fixed chairs. And in the district, we are desperately in need of more room for professional development. And so the floor is being made flat, the fixed chairs are gone, there'll be removable furniture just like this that can be used every day for teachers' professional development and additional conference rooms, and then we'll set it up to have a board meeting twice a month. So I just want to clear that up, that we're not spending this money just for a board meeting twice a month.
Thank you. Yeah, this site is receiving ADA compliance improvements throughout the campus and the existing buildings. The next project is the Lincoln High School continuation auto shop that as of today, I believe they're like at 98% complete. They're just completing the punch list, but this site received brand new auto shop building for the site itself and also for adult education programs. Here's a photo of the finished building and work that's taking place to complete the equipment that's been installed.
Sergio, Trustee Hunt has a question.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. Mr. San Martin, this was built with a combination of grants, was that right, with RCC, or just remind me if you would?
Yeah, these were funded by our adult program and a combination of RDA funds too. This next project is the new wrestling room at King High School. This is a modular building that is currently under construction. The site has come across during construction some grading issues and soil issues. There's a photo here that shows you while we were doing the grading, there was saturation within the footprint of the new building. We have that has complicated the construction and the grading and the pad that's been certified, since it has been certified now. That is moving quickly, and we should be able to have this building ready and up and running fairly soon. Other active projects, we have also at King High School, we have a traffic circulation project for accessibility through Van Buren. This project has been
Mr.
twice.
Martin,
Yes, sir.
Trustee Luck Dawson also has a question.
Is that groundwater that just came up, that percolated up?
It's a combination of groundwater and also all the rain that we had before the summer. There was just rain, nonstop of rain, and it just saturated the water and then made it very difficult for compaction of the footprint.
Is the groundwater going to continue to be a problem there?
No, part of the engineering that has gone back, we are excavating. Instead of 18 inches, we're now going down 3 feet and recompacting to resolve the grading and
drains or something?
There will be some drainage, okay. But also it will, per our engineers, this should resolve the issue of the percolation that's been happening there.
Thanks.
Yes, King High School, the traffic circulation project that has bid twice. We are looking at rebidding this project and bringing it back to the Operations Board Subcommittee for recommendations to re-engineer and perhaps change the project itself a bit. We are still moving forward with the access to Van Buren, adding a circulation drop-off area and pickup for our students. The grant site, that is under plan review right now. We are looking at bidding this project fairly soon in the fall and going into construction at that point. The STEM High School project, we have now refocused to the Blaine site and moving forward with our due diligence process at this moment. And we can open it up for discussion at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Trustee Alavi?
Well, I think we're all really excited about all the projects that are taking place and very grateful to the community for the Measure O projects. I will bring up something which will not be a surprise to Mr. San Martin, but I'm not very happy with some of the aesthetics of these buildings, especially the ones that are kindergarten wings that look like office buildings. And I really think that we need some guidelines for moving ahead. What I would like to ask you is, I did notice that on this item B, the second issuance of the measure, you have some items that have already gone to DSA for approval, such as Alcott, I saw, and something else. I'm sorry, I don't have that list right in front of me.
Let's move to that slide.
It was way at the beginning.
Yeah, it's...
And what I'm interested in is, since we cannot redo these projects, they're already in the works, and there was no way to have input on the aesthetics. I was wondering about the second issuance items. Mm-hmm. Are those still within our purview to make some suggestions for?
That's the wrong presentation. Can you go to the original, the one that I was working on, but to the first slide, please?
That's it.
So, project groups A, B, and C have gone through the Operations Board Subcommittee for review, and we have presented to the board. The board has given us authorization to move forward to design development and construction development. B and C groups, B and C are in plan review, plan check under the Division of State Architect. It's not too late to go back and work on colors and adding any aesthetics to those projects.
Well, what I'm interested in is, I definitely am interested in doing that. I have not seen those projects, and I don't know the elevations. And this is something I did ask the board if we could see those and have some input. But I'm also interested in having some guidelines to give to our architects that might indicate where our preferences would be and some of our priorities, because I really think we're missing the boat. When we build a building in this district, we usually don't touch it for 30 or 40 years. And to build something that isn't aesthetically pleasing is very short-sighted on our part, because we're probably not going to be touching it for a very, very long time. And I'm very unhappy that we've got all these DSA-approved projects that I haven't even seen an elevation for. So I would request on behalf of the board that we spend some time thinking of some guidelines that we could all live by. So as we move forward, we won't be having this problem.
Thank you, Trustee Alvey. Before we go further, I wanted to know that we actually did have a public input on this specific topic, so I wanted to give that opportunity now. It's Ms. Letitia Pepper. Yes? Yes.
The actual presentations were switched, basically, so we just started with the update. J1 is really poly, so we probably should get clarification if they want to speak about poly. It's coming up next, and we can have them speak before or after.
Okay, I'll seek that direction from Ms. Pepper, if she's...
Did she leave?
Okay.
She left.
Okay, so then, sorry, we'll go ahead and just proceed then. Trustee Lee?
I was just going to comment on Mrs. Alavi's request with an agreement. I think it would be good. I know we've talked about these projects, but it's been over the course of 3 years. And even kind of going through the renderings that are part of this presentation, it may be true that these renderings don't portray an accurate representation of what the building looks like. So I think it would be appropriate to maybe see some renderings that have an appropriate rendering of what the building is actually going to look like. And for those projects that we don't have final approval on, to make sure that the board sees those prior to finalizing those plans. And then for those that have already been submitted and have been approved, find out what kind of leeway, if any, in terms of design. Because I think what Mrs. Alavi and I had a meeting, and a lot of the concerns that she has, as chair of the operations subcommittee, weren't really a focus, to be honest. It was more of process and procedure, and was input followed. And during all of our conversations, that was assured to us that sites and the community around those sites had input on the design and what was being included. But there may or may not be some disconnect on what they can and can't change. So one comment that was brought up was, if the building was designed in the 50s and it's kind of square and flat and maybe not as we would build a school today, and there's an opportunity in which we could influence that and make it more to today's standards and tastes, that we could do that. So one of the solutions that we had discussed was potentially making sure that our architects who are working on these projects know what the board's preference is in terms of design and what leeway they have in terms of going about making some design choices and presenting them to staff and to the board. So while I would not want to interfere with being in line for state funds, and if there's an opportunity in which we can approve the aesthetics and make sure that a kindergarten wing is looking like a kindergarten wing, and one example we brought up too was with Madison, about 2-3 years ago, they went and they painted the blacktop, a bunch of different colors with games and stuff that the kids could do. Any of those aesthetics designs that maybe not have like a structural component to them that don't also add a tremendous amount to the total cost of the projects should be things that we should consider.
Thank you, Trustee Lee. Do you want to?
So just to give a little bit more information, I did meet with Mrs. Alavi and Mr. Lee regarding this particular topic, and what I recommend that we do is go back to the operations subcommittee and recommend the criteria to how we would ensure that the projects will have questions specifically to how they would look. The other thing that I would like to add is that sometimes we use rendering that are not necessarily the exact representation of what's going to happen at those sites. And so from this point on, I think we need to be careful about sharing any rendering that might not be the right presentation, because it does give not just the board but the public an idea that that's really what's going to happen. I think we have creative architects that are our partners on all of these projects. They would love and welcome the opportunity to be creative with their designs. They are working with limited budgets, but I do want the board to know that we are listening. We did move quickly. We moved the process, and we got a lot of projects out of the way, and staff got a lot of them, as you see, in line, and we'll be in very good shape for state matching funds. But we'll go back and ask them for their creativity to try to bring some of those elements, especially to kindergartens buildings in particular. So we just want you to know we are heard, and we'll work through the operations subcommittee to come up with a criteria.
Thank you, Ms. Kish. Trustee Lock Dawson.
This is a couple different questions, but does the O&M committee act as our design review committee as well? Do we have a design review committee?
No.
So currently, each project gets their own design team that's specific for that project, and that would include the architects, the facilities team, the administration of that site, and many key stakeholders of that particular site. That would act as a design team. The designs do get reviewed by the board subcommittee. There is so many that we're moving fast. We were in a very, we were taking 3 to 4 in each one committee. And so we've looked at major elements, and we will make sure that we add this as an element and a criteria to the process. We are going to go back and visit the 5 that have elementary kindergarten wings and see what we could do, because I do agree when you have an opportunity to not leave a black pavement area that could be enhanced to meet the needs of our kindergarten population, we would bring that back to you.
And I guess question for Mrs. Alavi. So was your concern mostly about aesthetics, uniformity, or functionality? I guess, can I ask?
I was purely concerned with aesthetics, because in every single one of the projects that was recommended, they were plain. They were in 3 kindergarten wings. They were unadorned. They didn't have any color. They didn't have any signage except for that one on, I think it's Jefferson. And I don't know if there was more that the architects brought to this or not. I do not know. If that is not the rendering that you're giving me that's true, then what am I seeing?
Well, some of them, like for example, have landscaping that's going to happen, and some
that's
things
also,
to make. So that we'll make sure that we are more accurate about what is the end product going to look like.
So maybe this would help too. As all these projects came to study sessions and workshops, as we move forward, the Operations Board Subcommittee was tasked to review these individual projects. The Operations Board Subcommittee was also tasked to meet with the sites, talk to the community, talk to the administration at the sites, and see what they also wanted as these plans were being developed. There were public meetings or public sessions at these sites where the architects and engineers provided some schematics on design and so forth. Those were completed. We can definitely bring back to the board and share that information. I do agree that what you see today as a rendering does not really describe the whole project itself or the details and the quality that is being developed and designed.
I guess I would just say, possibly going forward, I mean, it sounds like Mrs. Alvey would like to review things, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I know it's going to O&M, right? Or the operations subcommittee.
So part of what we're trying to avoid is making decisions with 3 board members and break the Brown Act. So we're doing it in a way where we are watching how the operations subcommittee.
But the operations subcommittee is open to the public and it's posted. So
Yes.
that's not
Yeah.
breaking the Brown Act. I mean, she can, but what I think is just even a review or an opportunity just to review the aesthetics of it very quickly, I don't think would be.
That is something we can do.
To get
Yes,
some input.
after the designs come through the process, we actually can sit down and talk about a lot of these items with any board member. But we will make sure that we had talked with Mrs. Alavi and the chair of the committee that we would do that specifically.
Yeah, because I kind of agree. I think, I mean, we have this like one shot, to make it look great. And I think how we portray our buildings says a lot about who we are. And, we don't want to look like a prison. And unfortunately, a lot of school building and school construction is prison-like. And I think there's lots of really cool, innovative ideas out there. So, as you know, without slowing down the process. One other question is, do we have, I know not up in here, but our next series of projects, and you don't have that handy, do you?
You mean D, E, and F?
Yeah, I don't have that list as part of this presentation, but those will be coming to the board as we prep, as we saw the second round of bond issuance. That's going to start the next round of those projects for planning and design. We will bring those to the board and start that whole process again.
And we're on track for funding all of those. We're not taking away from any of the schools as we intended. We have enough money to cover that, correct?
We actually had brought an item to the operations subcommittee that demonstrates that we are on track. The good news is that with the market of housing market, not the market at Wall Street, has done so much better for assessed value of Riverside properties, and we actually can issue within the next 6 years possibly all of the Measure O funds that are available. So it just gives us an opportunity to actually access a lot more cash within the next 6 to 7 years. It does still keep the state matching funds unknown, but again, there is 2 opportunities at the state level in 2020 for state bonds and 2022 to offset. And if we move forward with all these projects, we'll be in a place to be able to access the funds sooner than later.
Yeah, it would be nice just to be reminded of those. Just that the projects. I mean, I was at a function the other day and somebody was saying, "Oh, you're not doing anything to North. You're not doing anything to Longfellow." I know we are doing things to Longfellow because I know that's on the schedule, and I've seen and Fremont too. We're working on too. So it would just be nice to see. I know North is coming up in maybe D or E or something, right?
Yes.
They're coming. So, I mean, it'd just be kind of nice to be reminded of what schools are being touched by the bond.
We actually we have many of that on our website, and we can particularly start to highlight these projects and the budgets that are allocated from this program. I would say program because it's multiple funding sources, including community facilities districts, Measure O, state matching funds, and redevelopment.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Dawson. Trustee Hunt.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. Just want to clarify a couple things. One, everything on this list has appeared before the board. The board has seen everything before you went forward on anything, right?
We had a study session back a few months ago, like I would say over 6 months ago, we brought projects back.
Okay, so, and just to clarify that no matter what the operations committee gets, whether if architect X gives us 3 different renderings for Adams School, all 3 of them go before the board. There's nothing that's held back from the board, right? Everything that we see, they see, and vice versa.
And yes,
Right, 'cause
that's
it's
what
the
we've
board that
promised
makes the
from the
decision.
beginning. Although I would say that some of the aesthetics might have not been concentrated on
Yes.
is what we are talking about here.
I'm just looking at the bigger picture. Mrs. Alavi's right, and I agree with all my colleagues. You know, Mrs. Alavi and I go back, and I see Marco sitting out there in the audience when we did the first Frank Miller renditions. I think my third or fourth meeting on the board, and we got this typical his old architectural firm look, and we all worked hard to make sure it would somehow begin to reflect the Mission Inn and the spirit of Riverside and everything. So I think your comment, Mrs. Alavi, are very appropriate. These are going to be there 100 years. It's always sad to me when you walk up in some of our campuses, like the old Arlington, that looks so institutional. I don't know what folks were thinking. So we do want to have everybody involved. I was glad Mrs. Alavi brought out the point about I think it's the one that has the faux wood on the entrance. That's the pre-K and K entrance now, isn't it?
That's High Grove Elementary. That's the new classroom wing.
Yeah, so that's, yes, making it more inviting. It's going to take colleagues more of our time together, all 5 of us, because though we're doing well on the money, construction costs are up, and it takes such a long time to go through the state process that we are losing money just because of the inflation of goods. The good news, the construction industry is doing very well. That's less bidders. And the second thing is the tariffs that we're experiencing nationally with concrete and steel are hurting. So whatever we do, I just encourage us to understand that we've got to keep it moving, but everybody should be involved. You're elected to be here to represent the folks, and let's make sure we have that process, whichever way we have to look at it. And we can't break the Brown Act, but definitely just ask for more time and maybe split them up in smaller pieces, Mrs. Kakish.
We'll schedule study sessions appropriately to make sure that we have enough time to go over the projects in detail.
It's appropriate comments by the board. I do agree.
Thank you, Trustee Han. I just want to concur also with my colleague, Trustee Alavi, with her suggestions. I also just want to add, if you agree also, that I know that there's certain baseline levels of energy efficiency that already we have to do, but that to whatever consideration that's feasible, that should be another aspect of cost savings long term and value as well. Trustee Alavi.
Thank you. We have not been able to choose between different designs. That's not ever come to the full board. And we have not seen all these elevations. So that's what I'm complaining about. And I'm looking down the list of B and C, DSA approved. I haven't seen those. I haven't seen Adams or Fremont or Alcott I haven't seen those. I know what the project consists of because you've described it to us and you've brought us these projects in their total, but I do not know what they look like, and that is what I'm complaining about, not the project or the way it was handled or the order in which it's taken or the money that's being spent, which I know you're being very conscious of the budget, or the process. Those things I can see we have taken great pains for. So my complaint is purely aesthetic, and that what I'm really concerned about is that the architects are being given guidelines. They go to this design group, if you will, and present an idea. That does not give the design group options to say, I don't like it, let's change it, let's move to do something different. In fact, it's almost given as a fait accompli. It's all done. So my feeling is we need input earlier. We need input with the architects to say, give some consideration for some other kinds of aesthetics that you might consider. And do not feel obligated to stick to a 1950 design. It's beyond my understanding. Or because you've got a portable like a king weight room, you've got to make it look like an ugly portable. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I know it's my kind of thing to harp on this, but I just want to have more input, especially to these B and C projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Alvey. And just to confirm, do you feel like that from what the colleagues have shared on staff that you've been heard on this?
Yes, we can come up with design guidelines.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you, staff, for your efforts.
I have another question.
Oh, Trustee
I don't
Lee.
know, this thing just keeps blinking. I don't know if it's working or not.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to comment on two things my colleague said and then asked for a request because I think some of our architects are here. So in regards to, we kind of discussed a design committee, and well, if that's the will of the board, we could do it, but it just seems like one more committee to look at something again and possibly cause delays. So I think some of these things that we have put in place should mitigate some of the problems moving forward. But I'll say it here too in front of everybody, and not because I think Mrs. Alvey thinks Mr. Hunter or I are doing a bad job, but I am more than welcome, and any of these agendas that we all do get to see, make sure Mrs. Alvey sees a copy of the agenda, and if there is something of interest, I'm more than willing to have you sit in my spot at that meeting, and I can either act as a member of the public and not participate in the conversation, and have you there. More than welcome that, actually. And to Mr. Hunt's point, I think that with the previous study sessions, I don't recall all the renderings that we saw in this presentation. They could have been there, but I think most of it was focused on site plan and what it looked like from looking down on it, not necessarily the elevations that Mrs. Alvey has an interest in. And then I do know that some of our architects here, and if it would be appropriate and they'd feel comfortable, I would like to hear from them to find out if these renderings are accurate representations of what we expect to see at the end of the day. Also, if they were given any constraints either by the design committee, community, like how did this process go? And what should we expect, and are Mrs. Alvey's concerns about further modernizing our institutional facilities? Are fears not warranted?
Is that the will of the board to go and listen to some of our architects? I'm sure they'll be.
Well, a board member can suggest that and individually, and so if an architect is so inclined,
it is a study session,
right? That's what I'm saying. So if an architect is so inclined, they can certainly share that.
We have Kevin from HMC, and he can speak on his projects.
So the projects we've been working on are a grant right now, which we aren't really changing the aesthetics of it. We're respecting the history of grant. Monroe is in Group B, and what we did with that was it's a kindergarten building, and so we looked at the existing architecture grant. We looked at the adjacent neighbors, the single-story houses that we were near, and then we tried to do something that fit with those, but fit also the character of a kindergarten environment. So there's a lot of bright colors in the playground. There's small little outdoor activity areas. There's a lively tricycle track out in front. And then we have some small shade structures that are scaled towards the size of elementary school kids.
So Kevin, the question about sometimes the pictures that we use, are they not true representative of the?
For Monroe, they are.
Okay.
Now, these were last updated for the renderings and elevations at schematics, so there's been some more detail, and there's been a little more information since then, since we're in construction documents now, but it basically reflects what happened in schematics. So if you want to see it again, I would want to update it and give more detail, but it basically reflects what was provided at schematics.
Well, I haven't seen Monroe, so I would be interested to see that.
Any other questions?
Trustee Lee?
Sure.
Thank you.
Would you like to have a study session sooner than later for the B and C?
You know, how about,
I would like to see the B and C plans and renderings so that I can have
We were
some
going to
feedback.
do that with Mrs. Alavi, but I'm just wondering if the rest of
yeah,
the
let me
board-
just interject.
Yeah.
I mean, staff will go back and debrief this. We'll talk about it. We hear Mrs. Alvey loud and clear. Thank you for the input, Mrs. Alvey, and of course the other trustees. So whether we do it in another study session or whether they do it like when we adopt a new curriculum and you have a chance to come in and we adjust to your schedules, we'll figure something out so that you feel comfortable with all the things that you're seeing. And I think that thank you, staff, for preparing, and thank you for the architects for preparing. And if we can move on, then we'll do what you've asked us to do.
Trustee Lee?
From where? The Group A architects. So, for example, Highgrove?
Our architect is not here at this point for Highgrove.
Trustee Lee, is there anything? Oh,
Connie?
Hi, my name is Melanie Barisha. Sorry. I'm with LPA and we're working on Madison Elementary, the new kinder building, as well as Adams and Group C. I can speak to the question regarding the image that was provided. That's taken at a corner of the building, so perhaps additional renderings would better serve to help you get a better idea of what the rest of the building looks like. We are doing new striping at the hard courts, and there are some fun graphics there. We do have other renderings if you'd like to see those of the different elevations. It shows more of the colors on the campus. We're also doing some improvements to the administration building for the front door of the campus that have the school colors and some new signage for that front door. And then as well, we are also able to do some new paint at the existing buildings, which will help for the students in terms of wayfinding. The buildings are A through G, so now each building will have its own kind of color and then labeled which building is which. So there are different aspects that speak to the more colors that was requested, but we're happy to provide more images if that would help you.
Thank you.
thank you. Is there anything? Okay, at this time, we're actually going to take a brief 5-minute recess as we're experiencing some technical difficulties. We will adjourn at 6:52. Thank you. Ending the meeting at 6:54 p.m. Our next presenter will be Sergio San Martin regarding the Poly High School Improvement Project. Yeah, please
Great,
proceed.
thank you.
Please go down.
Thank you. Good evening again. This next project is an exciting project that we're bringing to the board as an update and also as a follow-up from a year ago when we presented to the board. This is the Poly High School update measure of projects. This is an aerial of the existing campus. This project and designs have gone to the Operations Board Subcommittee. The last time presented was in March and May 2019. Excuse me. This slide here represents the original proposed scope of work that since then the ball field and the parking expansion projects have been suspended at this time. However, the ADA quad, a redesign of the ADA quad work that is active and with the direction of the Operations Board Subcommittee, we're in plan design at the Division State Architect. As I mentioned, a couple of the projects have been suspended, specifically the ball fields and the parking lot. The board tasked us to go back and look at what can we do with the remaining funds and keeping them at the existing campus. Our budget that we've been working with is $24 million. The campus quad redesign, it's estimated at $14.4 million. Less expended as of today. There's a remaining balance of $9 million, 9.1 to be exact. We were also tasked to check with the site and worked on what are the highest needs for Poly High School. Going back through the facilities master plan and the meetings that took place in meeting with the site and listening to the needs of the site, including boots on the ground, we've identified that there is the ADA path of travel that is needed, which the Division of State Architect has requested that we complete this work before moving forward with any work at the campus. So that's been a high need. Also, the administration expansion and relocation of the admin was one of the highest needs for the site. The athletic and play fields also need some renewal work there. Classroom casework and storage equipment at the classrooms. Flexible spaces for collaborative learning, full furniture replacement, gymnasium expansion, a new multi-purpose room / cafeteria, a new performing arts theater, a parking lot expansion, permanent classroom buildings, specifically replacing portable buildings with permanent buildings, and also replace aged campus infrastructure.
Mr. San Martin, Trustee Alabi has a question.
I just wanted to clarify, I don't believe a new performing arts theater was part of the facilities plan. It was a redo of the performing arts wing. It was the choir, the band room, things like that. I don't think it was the theater itself, and I wanted to clarify that for the board.
Okay, that's a good point. The site was designed for 1,500 students, and since then we've gone beyond that and doubled the enrollment at the site. So what was designed back in the 60s does not really, they're not adequate spaces which we would look at in terms of high needs to bring the site to where it should be. The list will continues. There's replacement of portable signage, marquees, and a gym renovation, which the gym needs renovation. This next slide is just a representation of the just an overview of the proposed work with the quad, the location of the quad work and redesign, and also a couple of options with the remaining funds of what we can do outside of or with from the list that I just went over. So there's an option one of building a 6 classroom permanent classroom wing, replacing 6 portables, and option 2 is building an auxiliary gymnasium or practice gym. These I will go in a little more detail. Before that, this is the quad work, the quad redesign, which is an active project. Again, this is in plan review at the Division of State Architect. This designed, the site had a lot of input. In fact, Ms. Alavi also was part of the design process on this specific scope of work. What this would do is achieve the ADA compliance and path of travels that the state is concerned. This work would achieve that, but also it would create seating and shading areas, gathering spaces. It would address landscape and hardscape, and mainly beautifying that area in the interior areas of the campus, really giving it an area for more of a college feel for students, for seating, for gathering, and so forth. This part of the scope of work would also include replacing and relocating existing infrastructure on the campus. Option 1 includes a $9 million classroom
Mr.
replacement.
San Martin, Trustee Luck Dawson would like to say something.
Could you go back to that slide? So on the, I think it's the south west side of the campus there, there's by the 800 wing there's, right now there's a huge elevation difference between the upper and the lower. Is there a plan to do anything with that, or are those steps, and are you going to go into that as you go through the plan?
That's a very good question. Part of the redesign to meet ADA compliance and to achieve those areas of gatherings, there will be some intensive grading, which means leveling the site. And when we do that, it's going to hit underground infrastructure that has been placed there for the last over 50 years. So we're working around that with our engineers. And that's part of the cost of $14.4 million of the work, the intensive work that will require for us to really make it a functional environment for our students.
And when is the last time the interior of Poly was touched by anything?
Interior of the classrooms?
No, like the quad.
Probably
I
never.
mean, I don't know. When is the last time it had any? Does anybody
I don't
know?
believe that there's been any dedicated work at this level that is
I mean,
intensive.
Is it the same? I don't know. Maybe that's a question for somebody who's been here a long time. But is it
We have
the
a former
same
student
since-
in the Miss Ibarra.
Oh,
Does
is
the
it
quad
the
look
same as it was when you were there, when you attended?
I was there a while ago, Mrs. Dawson, but for the most part, the main interior quad is the same. They have done outer renovations, the front, and as you know, that science building and all of that new parking lot is new. But the interior quad is still replicated very similar to what it was when I was there.
Okay, I won't throw you under the bus by saying how long ago that was, but I guess I can
30
guess.
plus.
So, yeah, so over 30 years. Then,
Mr.
I
Lee,
think.
help me out here.
Yeah, it's time for a refresh there and a little bit of a facelift. Okay, thank you very much.
Sure. So this is an exciting area that we will be looking at. Again, it's under plan review at the Division of State Architect. We can move, if the board agrees, we would move forward with this scope of work, bid the project in February of 2020, and be in construction this following summer. The next option, this is
Mr.
option
San
one.
Martin, Trustee Hunt would like to say something.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. Are you going to, and maybe it's ahead of us, but the renderings of the new entrance off of the main parking lot, are you going to be showing us that too, as well? As part of this, speaking of renderings?
I do have another slide that I can show you that.
Okay.
Can you bring up the...
You don't have to jump to there, Mr. San Martin. I was just asking if you were going to be showing that. And yeah, there we go.
It wasn't part of the presentation, but we were prepared to show you. This would be the entrance that would be redone or redesigned facing central.
Okay.
There's some other renderings. I'm not sure if we can really detail, but just more perspective views of the work that will be done within the quad area.
All right, down to my, so here is the, I'm sorry, this is the amphitheater. Is this here on my left here? Down here in the corner? Bottom left.
No, the amphitheater would be on the opposite side of these renderings.
All right, so that is the area in front of the, not the science building. The 200, okay. Well, I think if y'all remember, it was not just ADA, it was also to find a way to give these young people, as Mr. Sam Martin mentioned, about 800 more than was planned, or more, place to sit during lunchtime and just to be, and have shade, because it was just not there. I think they've achieved it with these drawings. Thank you for everyone's input on that too. Thank you.
Can we go back to
Trustee Alvey would like to add something.
What isn't very visible on these drawings is that across the amphitheater and in front of the gym are perforated kind of shade things that go on top of those kind of arms, if you will, to give, yeah, like that shade, not fabric, but it's almost like metal, like perforated metal. I don't exactly know what it is actually. Maybe the architect does, but to give that that area's extra shade, which is an event.
We have the architect present. Would you like us to walk us through the design of the quad?
Yeah.
Yes,
I had
Trustee Hunt.
Yeah, just one more question too. When he's doing that, and I think you've done it, and I just want to, the part that's in front of the gymnasium, which is just big rectangular of grass right now with a little wall around it. I'm interested to see what we did there as well, just to be reminded. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, board members. I remember this project very well because we met with Ms. Calavie in May of 2018, and we started with a blank piece of paper. We took every single notes that Ms. Calavie wrote on this note, and we took it to heart, and we start with the entry. It was told that the entry needs to be dignified. It needs to have a sense of history. Anybody that comes to Pauley High School needs to instantly recognize that there's a history at Pauley. So we created this entry to, not sure if this would be the formal entry, but at the time it was to redesign this area along Central Avenue to create this, it's currently a walkway, a very unpleasant, almost an alley walkway. So what we did was we just redesigned there so that we gave the Pauley this fresh look. And I remember Ms. Calavie says she has an inspiration. The inspiration was this image that she has imprinted from Eleanor Roosevelt High School. That grandness, we try to achieve that in this formal entry at Pauley. And I think we achieved that look. From there, we went ahead and looked at the quad area at Pauley. It's a very small campus. What can we do to create a collegiate setting? What can we do to encourage students? What can we do to provide more outdoor seatings, gathering space, under weather protected shade structures for the students? If you walk at Pauley right now, all the students are literally sitting wherever they can sit, stand wherever they can stand under shaded trees. It's really not the environment that the students deserve here at Pauley. So this design not only beautified, addressed all the ADA issues, but it also reorganized Pauley. Once. I know there's been a lot of projects in the past that are, fixing a walkway here, patching a ramp there, but this is truly our opportunities to go in and fix Pauley all at once in one shot and do it right.
Thank you. Please proceed. Oh, Trustee Hunt.
Thank you, Dr. Farouk. Just one question. I don't see Dan Rudd here, but Mr. Mueller, that looks beautiful. Is is that real grass? I mean, kids are going to walk over that. How are we going to take care of that? How's it being done? And all of that. Is there a better choice than real grass, as I'm saying?
Mr. Hunt, are you referring to the entry where the grass, the little grass on the sides?
Yes, ma'am, I think I am.
Yes,
Oh, here,
it
I'll
is.
look at it. Yeah, up here, where it's up in the corner, is that, and those little rectangles, are those grass?
Yes, we actually study that too, Mr. Hunt. This is a very small campus, so we want to utilize about 80% hardscape and 20% softscape to give that much more room for the students to wander around. So what you see on the landscaping, even though the green pops up, but really that is only 20% or so of the entire campus. Yeah.
Okay. And is it manageable, Mr. Mueller? Okay. Thank you. It's very, very nice. Thank you.
We actually met with the M&O team also. What we did was we did a lot of assessment. We make sure that all the planting species are within the M&O team's list of approved planting species. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed, Mr. San Martin, team.
Okay. So, part of our ending balance at $9 million, what can we achieve looking at the list of high needs at Poly? One of the areas that we can touch and address would be replacing 6 portables with a 6-classroom permanent building. This is a 7,750 square foot building with restrooms and support facilities. Another option would be to add and expand the gymnasium, adding a practice gym of 9,000 square feet. This would be used as an auxiliary gym for the campus that would help their undersized gym that they currently have at this time. Either option 1 or 2 would take us moving forward today, would take us all the way to January 2023, except for the quad work. That quad work, again, we can move forward in construction this next summer coming up. And with that, we can open it up for questions, additional questions that you may have.
Thank you for that report. Trustee Alvey.
Yes, I was hoping that maybe we could have somebody from Poly come up, because I would like to get your opinion about the practice gym, whether or not you think it would be very practical, or would there be other uses for this money, because I've heard that the practice gym might not be enough to make a difference. So I just wanted to get your feedback.
Daryl Hansen, new principal at Poly. Thank you for being here.
Dr. Farouk, Dr. Hansen, members of the board, it's a pleasure to stand in front of you again. It's been a while, but certainly excited to have this opportunity. We've had a lot of conversations, and certainly, you could go 1,000 different directions with this, because there's a lot of needs. Obviously, the gym is very small, but we've looked at multiple, in a full-scale competitive gym, and we're in the, I believe, $40 million range, and we know we're not there. So we looked at these 2 areas and how we could best use them. The classrooms certainly would be helpful. A six-room permanent building would be great, but we have 30 portables sitting out there, and 6 takes a piece of those, and actually there were just 6 just put in, and that would be replacing, I guess, the 6 that, so it kind of in some ways feel we haven't gotten anywhere. The auxiliary gym, I'm going to be honest with you, over the summer I thought I don't see this. Now I've spent 7 days on the campus with students, so maybe I'm a veteran now with them. And you're right, they're really struggling to find places to sit. The interior of the campus, by the way, what you're doing is absolutely gorgeous. And everybody I've talked to is on board. They absolutely love it. And it really does give us some options. But shade and in high heat and rain and those type is a challenge. The auxiliary gym could in many ways be also purposed in some of those for places to go. Much like the auxiliary gym that was at King that we're used to when we had situations where we needed to get people out of the weather. That was a great sitting area. We've looked at some of the ways we could use that, and we've had conversations of possibly, if you look at the design, I don't know if you want to throw that up, or you had it up, I'm sorry, the bathrooms, one of the challenges we have is during competitions on all of our athletic fields, there's no restroom out there. And if we put an exterior door there, that would be helpful because we could move. And now we have a restroom facility on our athletic fields that we don't currently have. Right now, we have to send them to the pool to use the restroom, and which is quite a good distance away. And then we had conversations about how we could use this facility to ease some of the pressures from our gym, because our gym is in constant use, morning up until late at night. And to be, yeah, it's a practice, but looking at ways we could try to figure out on one to make it where we could play junior varsity, maybe some freshman and junior varsity games in there that would really move a lot of things out of our gym. And then our gym gets closed down every year for testing because that's our biggest facility. Now this would give us a testing facility as well. So we do see that, yeah, we'd love to have the $40 million gym. That would be great, but 40 million isn't there. We could do a lot of things with this that I didn't see until the last 7 days.
Thank you. That really helps me a lot because when Mr. Ibarra came from Arlington and told us of the need for an auxiliary gym there, I mean, he basically sold me, I mean, on that idea. And then I was feeling torn here to know whether or not it was going to answer some of your needs.
There's some things that we'd love if it's in the scope to tweak on it, and maybe some small rows of bleachers so parents could sit and watch games and those type of things. But I think, I'm not an architect, but some small things that could be very usable for us.
Trustee Hunt.
Good presentation, Mr. Principal, and thank you, Mrs. Alley, for those questions. And I like the idea of adding some, I didn't realize we didn't have anything place for the parents to sit, and I think it's a great +2 argument when we talk about junior varsity and freshman games and getting them engaged as a bear early on. At this time too, just as Mrs. Allaby alluded to, Principal Ybarra was telling us that I think the flag girls, some of the pom-pom, they were having to go to Shemau and other places. Do you have some of your squads that are at other campuses right now?
No, but they're all outside. They're
okay.
Watching our flag girls. They're all, and they're on a side of a hill, and that it's a challenge for them. So this would give an opportunity. They practice right in front of the Littleworth Theater. And so on the hill, the slope going up,
yeah.
That's where they do most of their practices in the evening.
Right. How about just at the same time, and I thank you, it's a good explanation, but we've also talked about, we have a very old kitchen and cafeteria. Again, Poly was built for less students with 2 lunch periods. Nobody does that. How do you see that as a priority? As you've been there 7 days now, and I mean, you watch I know it's tough, and they're going to have more room to sit and eat. But what about that kitchen? Does it meet the nutritional needs that we have for that many students? Are we able to process the food through there? What's happening?
All I can say at this time is I have not seen some major problems there. We have some significant lines, but our kitchen staff does a pretty outstanding job. I've sat in there a couple of days with her and just watched them process, and students move through fairly quickly. We also have a barbecue and some kiosks going in different places to ease that, and certainly as with our student body, the more opportunities or more areas to pick up food would be great, but they're processing through pretty quick. I'm going to say in the length of our lunch, there are no lines.
Good, okay.
After about 15 minutes into the lunch.
And your seating in there's what?
Well, we have no seating in there.
No
it's
seating
just a process through.
Okay, just a
all
process.
Our seating is outside.
Okay, all right. And if I could, thank you, Mr. Principal. Mr. Sam Martin, one of the things when we started this idea was the, as our architect described to us, is to give that new look from Central. And I know the Principal Hansen's going to work on a parking plan that isn't just helter-skelter as it's been in the past. It's going to be orderly, and we'll be able to utilize all those spots. I think we're still working with the church across the way. Right.
That is correct.
We have an agreement? Okay. But we were going to, part of the idea that the former principal talked about was that move the administrative offices up to that end, that new entrance off of Central, and then secure the Victoria entrance. But we haven't done that. We're not moving the administrative offices, and why is that, and what would the cost? Did you look at that cost and then to reuse the old administrative?
That's actually a good question. What we're doing with the quad work will prepare us for a future relocation of the administration office. As our architect mentioned, we are redoing that whole front at, it's the back of the school, but facing Central. At one point, when funds in the future bond, we'll be able to relocate the administration office. In order for us to do that, it would require us to relocate or remove the existing kitchen. That's, if you can see on the rendering here, it's on the far end of facing Central. We would replace that building with the new administration office and rebuild the kitchen. With the funds that we have, the $9 million, $10 million, we couldn't achieve that with this scope of work. This would have to come at a future bond or a future project.
Okay, I just wanted to understand that, and no, very good. I agree. I'd like to hear more about the auxiliary gym and what we can do to make it, one, complement the other gym when they do have a mass assemblies. And I mean, one of them's watching a video screen, but that's not foreign these days. I would be very interested and think it'd be remiss if we didn't have some bleacher of some sort in there for folks and all. And then can we, in the existing gym, do we have the ability? I mean, we've got a scoreboard that dates back to Reggie and Cheryl Miller, I'm sure. And do we have an ability to add any of those things without touching the ADA problems of the state?
It's a matter of funding, but yes, those replacing the scoreboard or different equipment within the gymnasium, we can work on that. Mm-hmm. We'll work with the site and our design team. And
will an auxiliary gym, will it be a conditioned space, or is it swamp cooled, or what? How is that done?
It is being planned with the air conditioning system, HVAC with heating and air conditioning.
Okay, and is it hard? It's not the loose duct like they've had, and we're not doing that anymore,
No.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Farouk.
Thank you, Trustee Hahn. Trustee Lee.
I think I agree with Mr. Hansen on that one-story classroom building. I know Poly, like many of our schools, has a big problem with relocatables, but I think to spend $10 million and only solve 15% of the problem is not going to get you where you want to go. I'm a little hesitant on the section option 2, even though I can see a lot of the reasons why it would be a good idea. Only because there's so much need in our existing buildings, and so like part of me thinks, okay, you're adding this new building, kind of like you would, like, I don't know, put a pool in your backyard when you have, a 1960s house that needs to be completely refurbished. So I know those locker rooms are the same as when I went there, and the gym also needs some rehabbing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's more than just option 1 and option 2, because there's that whole list of need, whether it's furniture or flexible learning spaces. Mr. Hunt mentioned the scoreboard in the gym. I don't believe there's a working marquee at that school either. I think that's something that needs to be considered too, and I don't know what the cost of having that. So I think that's something we need to consider too.
Thank you, Trustee Lawson.
Thank you. I was off the options, but so the front entry is going to be similar to sort of what we did at Ramona. Is that right? Where the kind of a little bit of a grand arcade as you come in?
I'm not sure. I don't think it is. This is going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
If we can, Nick, can you bring up the other slide,
I don't know
please?
if I would call it the front entry because we haven't dedicated it as a front yet. The
Okay.
front will still be. I know there's flags, and we're debating whether to keep the flags or not, because usually the flags are in front of the school. So we had talked to the architect about whether.
The reason I asked it was kind of back to the question about having the administration building there too. I mean, potentially that could work for that. But it is similar, I think, to in my mind, to Ramona. But I'm just also curious if we have any actual pictures of what the quad looks like now. You don't have any photos in this, do you?
Not in this presentation,
Yeah.
but we did present at the Operations Board Subcommittee detailed renderings of the quad work that we can share and come back and share
I
with the
think
rest
you're
of the board.
meaning elevation though, right? Like
No,
not
I
just
mean like
the
what it
actual-
looks like right now in photographs. I
Oh,
mean, it's
yeah.
because I would love to see a before and after because it's.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
We can-
just when it's all said and done, come back and bring it back.
Yeah, we could do before and after.
Thank you, Trustee Dr. Dawson. So I just want to understand, because I want to be sensitive to what Trustee Lee said about looking at those other options and not knowing the cost. From this discussion right now, how time sensitive is definitive direction from the board, and how does that impact the overall process? And what are you seeking from us tonight? If you can just really make that clear.
So and part of the agenda, there's an action item from the board seeking your direction on design options. One of the items that we have given the authorization to move forward into construction development, which is the quad work. That is currently, again, being reviewed by the Division of State Architect. That one is time sensitive. Part of it is for us to plan to bid and get those documents ready as we get stamped out of DSA to prepare us to be in construction this next summer that's coming up. The other options with the remaining $9-10 million, those we have time to work with additional options if you would like us to come back and bring additional alternatives, or if you are in agreement with any of option 1 or 2, that would be the next part of the agenda to take action on those items.
Okay, Trustee Alvey.
Thank you. I'm inclined to think that the practice gym will be the place where we want to go, because it'll allow more flexibility on campus for a whole lot of different uses and give them space, which they don't have. But the other option that interests me, but I don't know the cost on this, is when you go into classrooms at Poly, what you are struck with pretty quickly is how sort of sad the classrooms are. They're kind of old, they're kind of beat up, the furniture's all mismatched, the casework, as they say, is kind of all beat up and falling apart. So I don't know if you could go into every classroom and could you refurbish to the point of new casework and new furniture? Could you address every classroom on Poly? And I guess that's what I would like to know, how far my dollars would go in that regard as well.
Yeah, we can definitely go back and boots on the ground, do an assessment on existing casework, classroom storage areas, and price that out and bring it back to the board and report on those costs.
Okay, Dr. Hanson.
Just to clarify so that the staff's really clear, we present a few things to you this evening, $14.5 million for the quad, and I'm hearing that we're going to continue going that road to fix the quad. But then there's 2 other things, an auxiliary gym and a 6th classroom. You're saying come back with some other designs besides those 2, maybe a 3 or a 4 to refurbish interior classrooms, to do that kind of stuff, and maybe look at the locker rooms, and give us a few other examples of how we can spend that $10 million back on Poly's campus, whether it's locker room, classrooms, in addition to what we've already shared you. Is that the clarity?
That's what I was asking. We're just seeing how far our money might go in classroom refurbishment.
And what you're suggesting would keep us on schedule with everything without any issues, right? Okay, Trustee Lee.
Yeah, I guess I'm okay with that. I think my only concern is, like, this is the 4th study session that Poly has been the subject, and I think I can say this because I went to Poly. But like, Poly's now like the Marcia Brady of RUSD. It's like it just keeps coming back, right? And so there's lots of need and lots of options, and any of them I think would work. So I'm sure we can find a bunch of other projects to have them priced out too, which is fine. But I don't know that it's as I don't want to say equitable, but I'm going to say equitable, to spend as much time on one school and we're not spending the same amount on other schools too. Because I think it's taking an unequitable amount of staff time, an unequitable time of board time, to try to get this one school right. And I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way, because all these things are needed, just like they are at Arlington and North, King, Ramona, right? So I think as a board, we just have to decide, do we want something new, or do we want to fix something old? You know, we're fixing the quad, which I think is needed, and it benefits arguably every kid on campus. So I think if we can find a project amongst these options that are listed here that benefits the greatest number of kids, then we should probably just give direction tonight. And if the board is in agreement that that's the gym, I can go along with that. If we think that's the case.
I guess that's the clarity that I was seeking for, because I heard previously the locker rooms perhaps need to be fixed up, the existing ones, because they're old from when you went to school. I heard about casework in classrooms, you know, and so if you want to give us direction tonight, if you're prepared to do that, that would be great. We do want to move on, but we want to have clarity from the board so the staff's doing the right work. And tonight we present you two things: auxiliary gym and classrooms, 6. But then it's those other things they've heard about. So that's the clarity I'm seeking for, superintendent, for the staff, so that we can go back and do the right work. Are we going to refurbish locker rooms or not? Classrooms or not? A new 6 classroom building or not? Auxiliary gym or not?
We will work on the marquee for sure.
So, I obviously agree with Trustee Lee. My only comment, though, is that there's only 2 options that are presented now that are actually costed out, because otherwise we would be providing definitive direction on something that we're speculating on what those costs would be. So, if the board is amenable to looking at pursuing one of these options, we could definitively move on from the poly. Trustee Hunt.
Well, I don't disagree with Mrs. Alavi on the classroom and the way they look, and I love the new furniture and the multi-space they're coming out with these days. But I do think there is a compelling argument that's very similar to one that she cited and did so well from Mr. Ybarra, our Principal Ybarra, that a auxiliary gym is important. I don't want to be pushed into that, though, Dr. Hanson. I'd like us to look at. I'm not in favor of the classrooms because, as the principal explained, there's 30-something. It's just a drop in the bucket, and it is a classroom of 30, so it affects 180 kids at a time, students at a time, where we know we can't. The gymnasium cannot be replicated, as was said, and the testing is so important. So, I personally am not in favor of the classroom replacement at $9 million. I liked some of the others, but I don't want to be pushed into that. I like to have time. I think the staff can work that quickly to come back on the gym and give us some ideas. I do think the locker rooms, and I've talked to Sergio, Mr. Sam Martin, I've talked about this in our committee meetings, fellow board members. I mean, isn't there a way that we could install new lockers? Those lockers are shameful. And the way it's beat up in there, and part of it's, they are steel. Kids just rip them up over the years. But I'd like to know some of the options for athletics, and that lean towards +2. The +2 is a major theme of this board, has been for a dozen years, and I believe that's where we should be looking. And gosh, I would like to do more in the casework, but I really do feel that the things that are +2, which is the auxiliary gym, or even some of the renewal of the play fields is important. But I'll leave it at that. That's my one thought as a board member.
Trustee Dawson.
Thank you. So the construction timeline that you showed on your last slide, that is for everything with option 1 and option 2, whether we decide, are they on that same timeline, or is this just for the interior improvements, the timeline?
The timeline reflects only option 1 or option 2.
Okay, but that's included in the timeline, though. It's
Correct.
not just so you really do need a decision on this fairly quickly, it seems like.
Yes.
If you want to target that timeline, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the question I have too is strategically, what is the best use of bond funds, which we have the most control over? They're ours, then we can do them for, and also site construction from state stuff. The two, Mrs. Alavi's ideas about classroom furniture and that stuff, are there different funding sources that might become available for that sort of thing to address that? You know, the state bond funding is for construction or modification, right? Or
And
upgrade.
furniture and equipment usually
is.
too, if we budget for it that way. So
Okay.
from other funding, I don't anticipate any other funding being available for furniture for any of the schools unless we plan it through this process.
Okay. And then we had discussed, I don't know if I even want to go here, but we had discussed at some point doing naming rights for some of our athletic facilities. Is that still, you know, I haven't revisited it in so long, I don't know, but I mean, is there still an option to get some underwriting by, I'm just throwing up Nike or something, you know, or, I guess I shouldn't say Nike, but
That is still an option.
Okay.
Yes.
So for some of the sports facilities,
Yes.
right? So
Like if
we
it-
just, which is something our foundation actually could do once we get our foundation up and running, I think. So that would be I would kind of lean towards more maybe trying to get some facility underwritten by the sports facility underwritten by something. And lastly, I'd be a little hesitant to tackle the locker rooms right now just because of the whole gender fluidity thing we have going on with locker rooms and bathrooms. I don't know that I'd want to make any kind of significant investment in that until we sort of know what we're going to do district-wide with that, because I know it's an issue coming up, and boy versus girl versus gender neutral and that sort of thing. So I would be a little hesitant to touch some of our locker rooms and bathrooms. I don't know. Is that a fair? I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
That's a reasonable concern.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Dr. Hansen, how would you like us to proceed in terms of, do you feel like you have clarity on the further information our colleagues need in order to?
I think that the board is asking for more options. And so we're going to need to schedule another meeting, trustee Hunt, and trustee Lee, excuse me, and give this the due diligence. And so we'll come back with a few more options how we can spend that $10 million on the interior of the campus. That's what I'm hearing.
Trustee Alavi?
I would be comfortable making a decision for the auxiliary gym tonight. I will make a motion that we go ahead and approve the plan for the inter-campus improvements tonight.
Okay, so her motion.
I said I'd be comfortable if the board were willing to consider the auxiliary gym. I would be comfortable with that. But I'm making a motion that we go ahead and approve the plan and go ahead for the inter-campus working.
So staff really just needs direction on that, and it seems that that's unanimous regarding the quad. There's nobody who has any issue with us proceeding with the quad. Is that correct? So there's no formal vote required. Are you suggesting also that you're open to us moving forward tonight definitively on the auxiliary gym?
I thought they needed a direction on that, so that's why I was making a motion.
They're seeking it. It sounds like there's a little bit of a wiggle room, but it would require us to revisit it. I personally am supportive of that as well, to move on. But at the same time, if other considerations and our colleagues need to be comfortable, we still have some room to provide that information. But I would be supportive of that as well. Trustee Lee?
I just have a question. If we put an auxiliary gym where it's indicated on that map there, and there becomes a need or a future dollars that would allow for a nicer gym than we have there right now, would that impact being able to create a competitive gym space because we built an auxiliary gym in the middle there?
I don't think it will impact it. It'll be benefit to have both gyms, as they stated, because it is an extra space, because we're not going to add any more space to Poly. But that said, I really recommend that we move and approve the direction for the quad with the budget that it's stated, with the design that's stated. And I really recommend that we consider another study session for, just to bring you more options. There's a new principal, new team. There is an opportunity to bring you back something you can be comfortable with. I'm just looking at us as a team, and this is the first high school that you're touching, and I don't think it's really Marcia Brady, because you're gonna do the same for Arlington, you're gonna do the same for North, and you're gonna do the same for any high school. They all have a lot of needs, and the choices are gonna be hard to make, and we're probably gonna go through similar processes. So I would feel more comfortable, because I really, really do not want any more changes after we make final decisions. So I'd rather that we take the time making that decision. If you're asking for a recommendation.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes, I'd like to ask Mrs. Alavey to make her motion again to approve the money for the quad, and then I'd like to have comment after the vote, please.
Yeah.
I stated before that the staff actually just needed direction from us. They don't need a formal vote on
So
that.
there'll be no changes to the quad after today.
And I'm not arguing with you,
Okay.
Mr. President, but I thought she just said she wanted us to go forward.
Yeah, I just want to
So-
make sure that it's an action
You're
item.
saying you do want a formal vote on it? Okay, that's, then,
Then my motion stands to make a motion to approve the plan for the quad redesign.
okay, we have a motion from Trustee Alvey, seconded by Trustee Hunt. Please vote. This is just regarding the quad. Okay, so that motion carries. Trustee Hunt, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, would you come back with what a good auxiliary gym would look like, the things we brought, and that would be important for me. I'm not sure that anything else, as far as building-wise, seems to catch the fancy, and has the principal standing up to say, hey, wait a second, like you don't know about this. So I think we should be looking at refining bringing the information on what classrooms cost. I think it's a very, very long day away that Nike or anybody else is going to come in and sponsor anything. When we were talking about the North Track, Mrs. Alley will remember, but just before I got on the board, Dr. Beatty was able to get Nike to give us $50,000 for a $2 million track. So they're not going to do that for every high school. So I think if we're going to it's time to build a new gym at Poly and at least give them some room. And so I'd like to see something a little more thorough is my request.
Okay, so I think that's the direction that we'll proceed. But Trustee Lock-Dawson, I think I don't have the screen. Okay, thank you, Trustee Lock-Dawson.
So I just want to make sure we're approving the interior. I got that part, but I'm trying to hear what my colleagues are saying. So Mr. Hunt would like to approve the auxiliary gym tonight. No, I mean, sorry, not tonight. But if you do like the auxiliary gym idea, but you're hearing, you would like to hear some additional ideas.
Mrs. Lock-Dawson, thank you for asking. I believe the auxiliary gym, I'm convinced is what is needed. I believe it on every campus. All of them except for King were built before Title IX.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mr. Ybarra said, and I'm sure Poly's similar, we opened Arlington with 8 sports. There's 28 sports, and now they're adding more, and that's great, plus 2. We need gyms. If we could afford to have a full gym there, we'd do it, but we can't. So what I'm asking for is a more refined presentation on auxiliary gym. If there's other things that the staff has heard tonight and Dr. Hansen's heard, as we've heard about furniture and all, let's understand more about that. But I'd like to know exactly what this gym is going to look like and what else we can do. Thank you for your question.
And I'm guessing, Mrs. Alvey, you as well would like to hear something more. You were willing to go along with the gym, but you're not totally excited about it, right? Is it?
No, I think that will probably be the most useful on campus. But I just didn't know how far our money would go into classroom refurbishment. If you tell me that we can touch every single classroom with new furniture and casework and make everything all sparkly, I might be inclined to do that, because that addresses every single classroom and every student on campus.
Okay.
So I think they're both good options. I just wanted to know if that was doable.
And then so you can bring back some sort of idea
Cost
about
estimate.
what it would cost to refurbish every classroom on campus.
Okay, that's a good.
And Mr. Lee, I want to ask you, You're not thrilled about option 1 or 2, or you think there should be other things that we should be considering, or?
Well, I mean, I just think about where we've come to get to here, right? We started with ball fields, then we had a quad, we modified the quad. So I just feel like every time we see it, we're going to come up with some other idea that we could potentially spend money on. So kind of the whole scheme of things, right? We have over a $1.5 billion need. We're only going to get there probably a quarter of the way. Same thing with Poly. There's $100 million, $150 million that we need to spend at Poly. So just pick the 25 million that is going to benefit the most kids. That's what I say.
Okay.
And whether that's the gym or touching every classroom or refurbishing the gym that we have and touching half the classroom, I don't know, because I think at the end of the day, whatever we do, it's going to make Poly better than it was right now.
Okay.
I just don't want to monopolize staff time, board time,
Yeah.
architect time on one project. And this might be the first in line, but didn't that last presentation say that Arlington's projects are already in DSA approval process? So I mean, those are
that was what was presented in.
Right. So I mean, we didn't spend 4 meetings on Arlington, right? So I just think we have to be cautious of that and the perception that it has.
Okay, so you just sort of just make the decision then, and after the next meeting is what you're saying. So you're just open to anything, and then, okay, I got that. And then I would like to hear from our student board member what you think.
Right, she's actually requested to speak next.
So like I've just been like quietly listening to see all your ideas and your views. Personally, I feel as we should look at more options. So in order for us to fully maximize our budget, as well as making sure we're meeting as many high needs that we can, like a new gym, auxiliary gym is great. Like Arlington, we need one. But if there's a way that we can benefit the most students while maximizing our money, I feel like we should look at more options in order to do that.
Okay.
So staff, you have the clear direction that you were seeking.
Yes.
And so thank you. And Trustee Hunt, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I just wondered if we had, or we can do it later, I guess, but we have architects in the audience that I think could tell us about some of the furniture, whether we could touch on the casework. I mean, just to get some of us, while we're not lingering on this thing, am I correct or not?
So they'll need to visit every classroom in Poly in order to give you a good estimate of the casework in that. And they might, once they visit few, they might give you a generalization, but I think they need to visit.
I don't think so.
No?
Count the number of classrooms.
And give, okay, if you can.
I wonder if this general, are you one of our architects, sir? No. Oh, Tilden Coyle, that's, our CM firm, there we go. Is that okay, Dr. Farouk?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Marty Greenwood with Tilden Coyle. This is actually, Tom, I met you. This is actually Steve's project, has been working on Poly. But the idea of remodelizing all these classrooms, short of doing a spit shine, which is paint and things like that, you're not going to be able to do this large-scale remodel with the funds that you have. So you're really looking at biggest bang for the bucks. And to be quite honest, students don't care about cabinets. I think the auxiliary gym is probably going to be the biggest impact to this campus, because the students are going to use it. The principal's already shared that this is what he feels is one of his bigger needs. So if you're looking for what direction, I would explore the gym. Thank you.
Does cabinet work or anything like that, Sergio, Mr. San Martin, does it affect ADA? I mean, if you take cabinet work out, is there any?
Yes, there will be a level of ADA. We would have to address anything that impacts ADA.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that input. The direction has been provided, so let us know when you're ready to.
So with the information that was received, do you still want to cost out classrooms?
Trustee Alvin?
I'm not interested. If we can't really make a difference in the classrooms, then I don't want to just do as he put it, a spit shine. That isn't going to be what I think we need.
So with that information,
I wouldn't pursue it, but maybe we can decide on that auxiliary gym tonight.
Okay, so
That's Mr. Lee is the one and Deborah.
So
I said if the board, that's what the board's preference is. I'm not, everything needs to be done, so.
Okay, so just to make absolute clarity, let's do a formal motion on this then, if that's being considered. Would anyone?
Which is the action item?
I'll move approval for the gym.
Option 2.
Option number 2.
Second.
Trustee Locke Dawson, seconded by Trustee Alavi. Please vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Good job, Trustee Hunt, with that suggestion with the architect. Okay. Thank you, Till and Coyle. Thank you. So actually, that's great. That's resolved now. Okay. Does anybody have any agenda items for future meetings? Trustee Locke Dawson.
Are we getting an update? I'm sorry, I don't have my schedule of meetings. Are we getting an update on our career technical ed programs in a workshop coming up soon?
Is that already in the pipeline, Dr. Hansen?
I don't recall off my mind, but we'll
Didn't
put
we have it on
we'll add
there?
it to. We have college and career. We did CTE update the study session just last spring. I don't know that we have one currently scheduled, but I'll double check and let you know.
And with that, sort of maybe a accounting of the types of apprenticeship programs that we have and the trainings we have. I know we work with Grid Alternative to get our kids trained to do solar, so that type of thing. I'd love to get an update on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Locke Dawson. Trustee Hunt.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Farouk. Are we meeting before the next Good Morning Riverside, or is that afterwards? And if we're meeting before, that's fine, but if it's afterwards, I'd like to just understand where we're going on that, what's the themes and just some of that. And you don't have to do that, well, it's up to you.
We have a meeting September the 3rd, and Good Morning Riverside's, I think, like September the 13th.
Yeah, you answered the question. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Thank you. We will adjourn the meeting in loving memory of Sophia Zamora, who was a student at Riverside STEM Academy. Meeting is adjourned at 7:50 p.m.